Welcome back to Math with Kim. And right now we are going to cover comparing decimals. So what we're doing is we're going to be using the greater than, the less than, or the equal sign. And obviously we are going to have to compare place value by place value. All right. So the best thing to do is just get in there and start looking at these. So the first one, and let me remind you, because we just did reading and writing decimals and writing them as fractions. So let's go ahead. I'm going to read these two decimals to you, and then we'll go step by step in comparing decimals. This is read as 378, and where does it end? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So it's read 378 thousandths. And this is read 368 thousandths. So again, if you like comparing fractions, you could actually do that. And again, we already went through this in our last lesson. So if this is read 378 thousandths, this is how I would write it as a fraction. And then this one read 368 thousandths would be written 368 over 1,000, or in other words, 368 thousandths, okay? So now, if that makes it easier for you to look, oh, which one has a bigger numerator? This one, right? But let's look at it if we didn't want to change them into fractions. Let's just compare our decimals. Okay, there's our decimal place. There's nothing, but there's a 0 in the ones place. Over here, there's our decimal place. There's a 0 in the ones place. So far, they're equal, right? So now let's compare the tenths place position. Well, 3 tenths, 3 tenths, same. Now let's compare the hundredths place with the hundredths place. 7, 6. Well, boom, I know that 7 is larger than 6. These are both positive, so for sure, if 7 is greater than 6, then this one has to be our greater decimal, okay? And remember again, greater than or less than, you can think of the little alligator. He wants to eat the bigger number, right? So that's what he's doing. All right, let's take a look at the next one. So again, we could read this as 52 thousandths and write it as a fraction. We could read this as 236 thousandths and write it as a fraction. Or we can just start comparing decimal places, right? So here's our decimal, same, 0 before again. But now let's compare our tenths to our tenths. Well, immediately right there, if these are both positive, the larger value in the tenths place is the 2. So this would be the greater value. Okay, now C, this one and D, definitely need to take a look at these because this is where they like to throw in the tricks. You know, that's what they do. So let's go ahead and compare. Of course, a 0 in the ones place, 0, same. Decimal, decimal, same. Tenths place, same. Hundredths, same. So 1, 1. Oh no, now we got values over here in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths place. Oh, but look, what's over here in the thousandths place? Nothing. Well, what can we represent nothing with? 0. Oh, these are the same still. Now, 10 thousandths place, a 0. Well, let's look at our 10 thousandths place here. Nothing. But what could I put in there? 0. So look what we got going here. Even though it started, right, these two we didn't see, and we saw that problem. So a lot of people think, oh, bigger number. Be careful. It's a trick. You can plug in those zeros. Whenever your digits end in decimals, you can plug in as many zeros as necessary afterwards. So what is this? This is equal. Okay.